Today I fucked up by not knowing you can become lactose intolerant in your 20s. So this actually did happen today and I'm still recovering from the horrific experience. It all started about 5 hours ago. I was looking in the fridge and realized there was still a lot of milk left and it was about to expire. I don't consume dairy that much and I mostly buy the milk for my boyfriend. He's away at work for the week so he wasn't here to finish it. There was only a pint left and I thought I may as well just drink it. Some cow had her titties pumped for this and I didn't want her efforts to go to waste. I sat down at the desk with the pint glass of milk and opened up OSU. OSU is a rhythm game in case you didn't already know. I ended up drinking it in less than 10 minutes, which is normal for me because I drink really quickly. I felt fine afterwards. I was banging out a few S grades in OSU which I was hyped about. I was in the middle of playing a map when my stomach made a weird noise. It was loud enough to be heard through the earphones I was wearing. It sounded like when you're sitting on a leather chair and you scoot your butt forward and it makes that squeaky fart sound. Then you have to quickly clarify to the people in the room that you did not actually fart, but they don't believe you. I didn't think much of it and just assumed it was because my stomach was empty and tried not to let it throw my concentration. After a few more moments it started doing that thing. You know what that thing where it feels like your stomach has bubbles popping inside it, the gurgling sensation, only it was so much stronger. It felt like there was a little army of men with sticks running up and down my digestive tract and beating the sides as hard as they can. At this point it was too uncomfortable to ignore and I failed the map. At that point I unplugged my earphones and was met by the sound of what can only be described as drainage pipe sounds. I remember beginning to think what the fuck, but I couldn't even finish the thought when the pain set it. It came out of nowhere. It felt like I'd had a bowling ball dropped on my stomach. I suddenly doubled over in pain, unable to move. Now I do not handle pain very well. I once threw up after stubbing my toe. I cut my knuckle on glass whilst washing dishes and I passed out, smacking my face against a set of ladders on the way down, making my nose bleed. Point is that I'm a pussy ass bitch. And this pain is something I had never felt before. The closest sensation I can describe it as is like period pains in your guts rather than your lower abdomen. I remember wondering if the milk was actually out of date even though I was sure it said it expires on the 12th. I kind of hobbled, hunched over like Gollum to the kitchen and checked the bottle. Yup, definitely the 12th. Standing up however had activated gravity and I felt something moving inside my stomach, and at that moment I knew I had to run to the toilet. The toilet was literally across the room, but whatever was brewing up in me was not about to wait around. By the time I got to the toilet I could feel it entering my anus. As soon as I sat down the floodgates of hell opened. It was not forgiving. The sounds that came out of me were akin to the war cries of demons being purged by God. I heard people walk past the window and I could do nothing to stop the demons from calling out to them. Then came the smell. I didn't think it was possible for any human to emit such fumes. The only person I know who can make a worse stink is my dad, but he treats it like an Olympic sport. For me this was torture. Keep in mind that I am still in immense pain this whole time. I had my head between my knees trying not to pass out whilst blasting the war trumpets of Asmodeus and making my neighbors think a sewage line has burst. I'm not exaggerating when I thought I was going to die. I didn't know if I should phone an ambulance or the undertakers. In fact I hoped for death. After sitting there for 10 minutes I had my head between my knees whilst trying to remember breathing techniques they teach pregnant women. This went on for so long it felt like an eternity, but it was probably the best part of an hour. Slowing the gates begin to close and the pain simmers down. After I was sure it was over I went to bed and lay down in the fetal position praying it didn't come back. It did a couple of times but not as bad as the first time. After talking to my mum about it this morning we concluded it was probably lactose intolerance. I genuinely thought lactose intolerance is something you were born with. I'm never drinking milk again. TL, drive. The milk was about to expire so I drank the rest of it in one go and then I ended up doubled over from the pain whilst shitting my guts out for over an hour. As a person who is not lactose intolerant but who does have IBS, I know this pain all too well. For a long time I could not eat anything without needing to have a long bathroom session quickly after, lasting anywhere from 30 minutes to, on the bad days, 2 hours. It got so bad at some points that I was afraid to go out to eat with my family anywhere, because I'd either have to use a public restroom, which I hate anyway, and be in there for over a half hour, or rush home in time to use the restroom whenever I feel my stomach churning. It was miserable. I'm medicated now, but some days are still worse than others, just less frequently. My mum has IBS and she refuses to drive for more than 30 minutes at a time in case she shits herself. She's told me a few horror stories. I'm sorry you have to deal with that. I used to drink milk all the time as a kid, but now if I drink it I get all farty and my poop comes out in weird shapes. What sort of shapes? The same can happen with gluten, and at even later ages. Listen to your body. When it starts acting out, it's quite possibly something you're doing to it. That's what happened to me. First it was lactose intolerance, now it's gluten as well. Pretty crazy how your body transforms over the years. My husband and I also became lactose intolerant in our 20s. Lactase can really help though. I'll look into that. Milk I can live without, but man, cheese is too good. I am a mightily tooty boy, as was my father before me. A proud line of gassy men. My partner is lactose intolerant and recommended I try not eating and dairy for a few days. I don't feel bloated. I haven't done a big old tooty burp combo all day. I have learned I'm lactose intolerant, age 35. Today I fucked up by telling the owner of the bar I worked at to fuck off. I worked at this popular bar in South Louisiana when I was in college. For anyone who has been to Louisiana for Mardi Gras, you know it's crazy. We even get a week off of school for it. Well, Mardi Gras came around and my bar was prepping. The street in front of our bar was on the parade route, so we knew we would be insanely busy. So we came up with these specialty drinks that would be served in a hollowed out pineapple. We prepped the pineapples. It took about 10 minutes per pineapple, but it would be worth it because we were charging $20 for the fuckers. Mardi Gras comes and my section is the patio. I'm prepared for drunk assholes and a 20-hour shift. Fast forward to 4 p.m. I've been working since 8 a.m. and handling 11 tables full of drunk assholes and people trying to skip out on their dab. I'm at my wit's end and lol, we are out of pineapples. Everyone is super busy, so we don't have time to make more. So we start serving the drink out of plastic cups. I come outside and see this guy just sat himself down without seeing the hostess first. This instantly pisses me off, but I put on my best smile and walk up to greet him. He immediately demands a pineapple drink. I tell him sure, but it would be served in a plastic cup because we are out of pineapples. He looks annoyed and tells me, well, go make a new pineapple. I want my drink in the pineapple. I tell him that's not possible and offer other options. He gets mad and tells me I need to do my job. This infuriates me. I have 10 other tables. You sir are not the only person here. After 10 minutes of going back and forth with him, I snap. Sir, there are 10 other tables. I offered you alternatives, but you're being difficult. If you're not happy, you can fuck off. Keep in mind I've been working since 8 a.m. with a full section, dealing with drunk assholes and having to chase down people to pay their dab. He looks taken aback, then goes, manager. Now I happily agree. I know my manager will have my back. So I find him and inform him of the situation. He sighs and says, take me to the asshole. We step out on the patio and my manager takes one look at the table and goes, get this man a pineapple. Wait, what? I don't have time. Well, make time. That's the owner. Oops. Too long, didn't read. Told a customer to fuck off. Turns out he is the owner of the bar I work at. This isn't a red flag, it's a giant blinking neon sign, telling you that's a terrible place to work. In this situation, fuck the owner, he can wait his ass in the chair. I'm an owner, I would never have done that to my staff. I would have gone to the bar and started making pineapples and bail them out. You should quit working for any asshole who doesn't appreciate or value their staff. For the first time ever, bar and restaurant people are not replaceable and shouldn't be treated like they are. Could be worse, you could have been telling him to sit on a pineapple. Should have done that. owner or not, he had no right to be an asshole to you. As the person who is supposed to take care of his employees, seeing you busy and just seating himself shows the amount of entitlement he has. I'm so sorry the owner was a jerk off to you from the beginning, and I'm even more sorry that you had to deal with Mardi Gras. Dealing with Mardi Gras is a special kind of hell. I didn't get fired though. The man got his pineapple and admitted that in my defense I was super busy and stressed out. Still a jerk though. Today I fucked up by completing a hot wing challenge, not exactly what you think. Kinda a 1 to 2 punch really. The first is the most obvious that comes with a hot wing challenge, the second is a mistake I will never forget or make again. Backstory: I am a male, will come into play later, and I have always had a competitive side. Man vs Food is one of my favorite shows and I have always wanted to complete a hot wing challenge. I have searched for them all over and finally had the right opportunity to complete one on our way back home from vacation in South Florida. The wings were made with red pepper flakes, jalapeno peppers, 2,500 to 10,000 Scoville units, cayenne peppers, 25,000 to 50,000 Scoville units, habanero peppers, 100,000 to 350,000 Scoville units, ghost peppers, 750,000 to 100,000 Scoville units, and an extract that is twice as hot as ghost peppers, so about 2 million Scoville units. Pepper spray is in this range. So at this point, the question of why in the world would I want to do this was in my head and was being verbally expressed by my family. But I ignored both my inner voice and my family and progressed forward. I wanted to do this challenge, so I ordered the wings, signed a waiver, and after about 15 minutes I had the wings sitting in front of me. If allowed, I can post a photo in an edit. I was unsure if photos are allowed. The smell made me gag and I was really nervous, especially since everyone around us started to watch as the manager announced what was about to happen. I had 4 minutes to eat 6 wings. I then had to sit for 4 minutes after, all without milk or a napkin. Damn it. Well, I knew once I bit into the first wing, I was going to feel the pain no matter what, so I told myself no matter how bad it hurts, I was going to finish this challenge. The timer starts. I tear into the wings. Hiccups started after the second one, as well as tears and immense burning and sweating. I crushed the wings, and sit for 4 minutes and finally get my hard-earned glass of milk. Mission accomplished, I did it. I got a cool shirt, I can post a picture in an edit if photos are allowed, and a round of applause. Also had a few beers purchased for me from the crowd. It was crazy though because I could not taste any of the beers or my actual dinner, which might as well have been cardboard. But I did it, and I was pumped. Now for the fuck up part. I washed my hands no less than 7 times and even rinsed them with milk twice. I made sure to touch as little of my body as possible, and I intentionally did not shower that night back at the hotel. I laid down for bed not feeling the best because my dumbass did not even think to take Tums or Pepto before the challenge, so I am struggling pretty hard but did not care because I was still pumped about my t-shirt and accomplishment, and I managed to fall asleep. Well, 2 AM rolls around and I feel like my insides are on fire. I run to the bathroom and do exactly what you would expect after a hot wing challenge. However, I made one of those mistakes you will never make twice in a lifetime. In my sleepy late night upset stomach days, I used my hands to control where I was peeing. Remember I said I was a male? While on the toilet, I also, wiped my ass. After about 5 minutes of being back in bed, it felt like someone had taken sandpaper to my private areas and rubbed icy hot on both areas my hands had touched or been near. I hopped up and got in the shower, which did not help, for about 30 minutes and basically had given up on life in this instant. I had never felt such pain. There was no amount of tears that could help and I was legit afraid to touch anything else. Being the only one in my room, the only way I could think of describing the moment was like the scene from Forgetting Sarah Marshall where the hotel front desk calls and mentioned complaints about a woman crying hysterically, but it's really Peter. It was literally one of the worst pains I had ever felt. I even went as far as to go go to the ice machine to get ice and try to ice myself for about 15 to 20 minutes. It helped a bit, but nothing was making it go away. After about 2 hours the burning had subsided enough to not be in a panic, and I finally went back to bed around 5 AM. The next day when I met up with my family, they asked how I was feeling. I told them good, but I am pretty sure they could tell I was lying based on how tired and defeated I looked. Regardless, I had my victory t-shirt and what little pride I had left, and that was good enough for me. Too long didn't read. I completed a hot wing eating challenge, fulfilling a goal of mine, but nearly burnt off my private areas with hot wing residue and cried myself to sleep in the process.